YouTube. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we're here for our children's edition of A Course in Miracles. And so we are reading the Miracle Principles. And so if you look on your screen, you'll see that that's what's posted up here. And in generally, we would like to take turns reading if anyone would like to read. So kind of gives us all a chance to participate. And, you can probably read the whole thing if someone would like to read it. And if you would like to do that, put your hand up. Or let me see, get the chat up and running here so I can see if somebody says something in the chat. Okay.
And I pulled up the PDF of the Sparkly edition just in case we want to compare to.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Let's just go ahead and read this. You know what? I'll read it.
Great.
Since I haven't talked enough today.
Right on.
Oh my goodness. All right. So Miracles and Revelations. The epic mind adventure. Let's go on a super cool adventure into the world of miracles and revelations. Imagine your mind as a giant tower with different levels, just like in a video game. So, miracles are like magical treasures hidden in the basement of your mind, the secret, super cool part. They help us feel super close to others, like when you and your best friend share secrets. On the other hand, revelations are like special messages from the attic, the highest part of your mind, where all the wisdom lives. But guess what? The main floor, your conscious level, is right in the middle. It's like the controller in a game reacting to what happens in the basement and attic levels. It's where you make choices and do things. Sometimes it can get a little mixed up, like when you press the wrong button in a game. Revelations make you feel super connected to God, like a cozy chat with the biggest friend ever. But don't try to find that same feeling in just physical things. It won't work. On the other hand, miracles bring people closer together, like when you share toys and have tons of fun. Now, here's the cool part. Both miracles and revelations are like magical experiences you have in your conscious level, even though they don't come from there. It's like using your controller to make your game character jump and explore the exciting new levels. Remember, you can choose what to believe and what to do, and that shows what you believe in your heart. And so yeah, he's likening it to, of course, you're playing a game, a video game. You have a controller or you have a mouse and you're moving it around. You're not jumping around on the screen. And although my grandson, when he's playing games, he's jumping around like he's actually doing it. He's like he's just so animated. But if you're just sitting there and you're playing a game, you're not jumping around, you're not running through the jungle, you're not, battling dinosaurs, you're not doing any of those things. You're doing it through the controller, through your mind. And so the miracles are things that help us feel connection to each other. A miracle is something that we do for each other, we do for ourselves, that actually reminds us that we are one mind, we are connected. A revelation is when we actually maybe hear the mind of God speaking with us and telling us where to jump, what to pick up, what to run to, all the things that that we're hearing from our higher mind, the revelation that helps us live in our experience. But the miracle is more of something that is made to connect us. That's what I'm seeing here. Anybody else have any thoughts about that, Oddsy, or anyone?
Yeah, I love that we're doing the basement, and then well, I know Regina Donacre, she talks about the 4 levels of consciousness. And if you wanted to put this into that mode, you could have your basement, then you got your main floor, then you got your second floor, then you got your attic. You got 4 levels right there you could put those into. And to me, it just makes that the language consistent throughout. If we can say, okay, well, that's what this teacher means by their their understanding of it. And my brain likes that, because it's like, okay, we're all kind of talking about the same thing, just some different words. So very, very nice way to understand it with the house. I like it. And I do like the 28. It says, miracles are a means of organizing different levels of consciousness. And then it talks about coming below our, from the below our subconscious level. Revelations come from the above or superconscious level, which is what Lynn was talking about. And it says here that it reacts to either sub or superconscious impulses in varying ratios. Consciousness is the level which engages in the world and is capable of responding to both, having no impulses from itself and being primarily a mechanism for inducing response. It can be very wrong. Haha. Revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. It represents the original form of communication between God and his souls, involving an extremely personal sense of closeness to creation, which man tries to find in physical relationships. Physical closeness cannot achieve this. The subconscious impulses properly induce miracles, which are genuinely interpersonal and result in real closeness to others. This can be misunderstood by a personally willful consciousness as impulses toward physical gratification. Wow, this is a great explanation here. And obviously I haven't read it before because it's not the version I've read, but it talks some more here. This final paragraph says, revelation unites souls with the capital S directly with God. Miracles unite minds directly with each other. Neither emanates from consciousness, but both are experienced there. This is essential since consciousness is the state which induces action, though it does not inspire it. Man is free to believe what he chooses, and what he does attests to what he believes. The deeper levels of the subconscious always contain the impulse to miracles, but man is free to fill its more superficial levels, which are closer to consciousness, with the impulses of this world, and to identify himself with them. This results in denying himself access to the miracle level underneath. In his action, then, his relationships also become superficial, and miracle-inspired relating becomes impossible. Wow. And imagine all that we're saying to kids by just letting them know these levels of consciousness and how we're connected to God, and that it isn't in physical things, but it's in this this level in your mind, and relating it to the gaming world. It's brilliant. So thank you. Very nice.
Yeah, I love this because it does kind of open up other ways of looking at what it seems so abstract when you actually read the miracle principle. Seems so abstract, and this gives you a more solid thing to hold on to and to look at. So I love that. Devin, hi, buddy. Good to have you back. Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a lot. Of course, the biggest difference with the course is the more so towards the beginning, and you see it in the original edition and the sparkly edition. And this sparkly comes from Bill Thetford's original interpretation and stuff, or something, whatever. And so there is the biggest difference is at the beginning. So the lessons don't vary that much. There's like one paragraph um, in the first one, the first lesson that's not in the blue book, and that's pretty much about it. And so you see a big difference. And I would debate on the way they use the terms consciousness and explaining on that being like referencing to conscious self and subconscious self as different aspects. But they say consciousness being the conscious self, opposed to consciousness is all subconscious, superconscious, and all conscious aspects entirely. It's like the whole room, the whole thing of consciousness. But then there's the conscious self, which is it's refers to as the ego quite often. So that's one thing that Ken Wapnick did a lot of, was trying to find more consistency in the terms being used throughout the course. And so he did take out like soul, and he even talks about that. But he took out soul and consciousness in that fashion, and everything, just to make more consistency. So you see that it does bounce around a little bit differently, but it does inspire a lot of different approaches to it. And now, of course, yes, children's edition. Think of it in the sense like there's a lot in that, even in the children's version. Uh, we're trying to just teach one lesson at a time. Like we're trying to speak just one little subject, and trying to talk about its levels instead of the three, four things that it was talking about originally, and just kind of just point it in one direction. These are children we're talking about here. And we just want one little lesson so that we can just, if anything kind of clicks, you're like, oh, that means this. And that's something I've noticed working with my children, is that, if I'm talking about something elaborate, they start zoning out, and I say, what did I talk about? And they just say one thing, this. And like, oh yeah, I just need to talk in that fashion. I'm just talking about this. And then they know what I'm talking about. And instead of losing them on all the other stuff, even though that one especially bounces around quite a bit, still, it's definitely a challenge. So, but it is beautiful to see it phrased in a more simple, just a simple way. Thank you. I find my
Yeah,
buttons here.
thank you, Devin. And yeah, I mean, really, um, we don't need to make it more complicated than it is. And everybody, people think that there's a big deal because words were moved around or changed, but they were moving around and changing words from the very beginning because a lot of times, Helen wasn't really, she didn't even actually hear words. So that is, she made really clear that she didn't actually hear words. She just heard whatever she heard and she wrote down words. So, that was, what was going through her mind at the time. And that's why so much of it, the course is written about like psychology, because she was a psychologist. And that was how she interpreted what she was hearing in her mind. But, it's very helpful talking about consciousness. The course says that consciousness was the first split. So what is this consciousness that we're talking about? It is a thought. It's any thought that that makes us seem separate or different. Any thought that makes us seem like there's something else to look at other than reality. And Iris has her hand up. Please go ahead, Iris.
Thank you, Lynn. This is glorious. I just hanging out like wow. I wish it makes me wish I was a kid and that I was learning all these things instead of the other stuff that I learned. And oh, this is fabulous. Like like bringing kids up with this. Uh I actually think they don't need to go to school at all. They just need to do this. It's brilliant. It's amazing. I just wanted to share that. It's fabulous. Thank you. And I'll hand back to Lynn.
Thank you, Iris. Yeah. I mean, honestly, yes, you can, if you had kids, and of course, kids in my generation, this would not have been acceptable. A lot of stuff, because I grew up in the 50s and 60s when I was a kid. So, back in those days, this kind of stuff was like heresy. But in the 60s, when Helen started receiving this dictation, things were really changing a lot. And between then and now, and now I'm 71 years old, and I have children and grandchildren and a great grandchild also. And they have a different kind of mindset than what I had when I was a child. So, now is the time that this can be brought out. And I think, yeah, it is brilliant. I gotta say, yeah, Devin, this is, the inspiration the Holy Spirit gave you to do this. Um, thank God for that. Anybody else have anything that they want to question or like to share here on this 28 miracle principle? And Iris has her hand up again.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, if I can just imagine a child, like a really young child, like whatever age, like 1, 2, 3, whatever, like being raised in this way would really it's just like would really just maximize their experience of life and maybe even reduce like just the distress that comes from not thinking right. I just think it's great. And uh yeah, I'm just actually just speechless. It's great. And I'll hand back to Lynn and that's it. I'll keep quiet. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Iris. Yeah, well, Devin's got three of them coming up, so let's see what how those how that goes along. He's got his own little home experiment there. So we will see. But there's a lot of people have already gotten this book and have sent it to their kids and their grandkids. So it is being disseminated, and of course you can still buy it um, through us if you want to, and we still get some kickback on it. So I don't mind that. And if I can figure out how to get to the link of it, which I know. Anyway, uh,
I can tell you the link. Uh,
tell me the
So
link.
so the main website is acimkids.com, and we have gather dot there's a dot in there, gather.acimkids.com. And anything bought through the links on that website, through the buttons on that website, discount or not, 50% of the proceeds go to support Gather. So gather.acimkids.com. Yeah, there we go. And
So
yeah,
yes,
yeah, don't go to the ACIM Kids one because that
No, go to the
doesn't
gather.
automatically divide up the proceeds.
Okay.
Yeah, go to the gather one.
Yeah, so put that.
It's the same website, but different proceed division. That's all.
Okay. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, feel free to get it for your kids, your grandkids, yourself, because absolutely this is something that is helpful to me as well. And thank you, Ozzy. We're adorable. Um, okay. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to say about this miracle principle number 28? Okay, well, let's move on to 29. Ooh, I like this one. Who would like to read number 29?
I would if you don't mind.
I'll take it. Unless somebody else does.
Who spoke up first just now?
We spoke simultaneously.
Okay.
Ricky and Rafi, the two
Ricky and
R's.
Rafi. Okay.
It's fine. He can. I kind of know this one by heart.
Okay, so Rafi can do this one and Ricky can do the next one if we get to it. Go ahead, Rafi.
Okay. This thing is in the way. I just got in the way. I can't access it because the pictures of everyone is blocking it. So somebody else is going to have to read it. Words get about 3/4 of the way across the page, and then they're cut off by this, and I don't know how to deal with it.
Okay. What you can do is up at the top of the squares where the pictures are,
Yeah.
there's like a little short one, a taller one.
Yeah.
Click on the short one. And see
Yay. Okay, got it.
All right.
29, miracles and revelations, fear-busting superpowers. Imagine fear like a big, dark cloud, and miracles are like superhero moves that help us kick that cloud away. Revelation is like a magical moment when the cloud is already gone and everything feels super sunny. It's a bit like finding a hidden treasure chest filled with happiness. But here's the tricky part. Revelation is so personal that it's like a secret language of the heart. It's so special that words can't really describe it, like trying to explain the taste of your favorite ice cream. Miracles, on the other hand, are like cool actions you can do to chase fear away. They're like a superhero saving the day. And right now, they're super important because they help us all work together and make the world a happier place. See, we can't just make fear disappear. We have to earn it by doing kind and brave things, just like superheroes. Actually, you can make fear disappear. You can release it, but I don't want to get into that. Should I stop at 30?
Yeah, so stop so we can talk about this.
Right.
And yeah, I hear what you just said. But isn't that kind of the brave thing is doing the releasing?
Well, if the problem with fear is that people don't like it, and if you don't like it, it's just going to stay there and get worse. But if you love it and let it go, then it's gone because it's still just a feeling. And we are not feelings. That's
Yes.
just energy.
Yes, Ravi, I agree with what you're saying. It is a little complex for children, but I agree.
Oh yeah, for children, yeah. Right.
Yeah. Sorry. We're just trying to make steps, steps. It's not saying we're trying not to make enemy of anything like fear. And we're just like, oh, just a little step. Yes, eventually we will. This course does get into the fact that you can love your fear and stuff like that. So great observation. Thank you.
I just would like to read the chat. Elizabeth says, we're going back to number 28 for a minute here. And she says, the addict is revealing to me an important message and returning me to the attic in the house where I grew up. very cool and good as it unfolds today. Revelations and wisdom, especially wisdom, keeps coming up for me recently. And as soon as I read that, Elizabeth, I just thought of the poem The Guest House by Rumi. And just, opening each day is a new guest. Fear, sadness, happiness, grief. Open your door and let them all in, invite them all in. And for me, as soon as I want a feeling to go away, or I want to notice it so that it'll go away, I'm still in resistance. So I think for me, I'm just trying to not put words on anything when I'm in that moment, because then it just confuses it all. And this is obviously lots of reading, and I know there are baby steps to it, and we're all where we are. And I trust that we all are coming from the same space, and that's love. And we want to understand, and we want to emulate this to the youngins. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Odzy. And yeah, it's so funny that you bring up that guest house, because that's in my earlier group. That's the prayer that Joni led us out of the group over the end of the group, reading the guest house. So, and I just was listening to Coldplay has a song where they say the guest house. So it's very interesting that that's been coming up. Um, but yeah, th- the more emphasis that we have on, um, first off, I personally know that when I was a small child, I had direct communication with God, direct communion and communication with God. Um, So yeah, if you can find it, Ozzy, or maybe I can look for it. But I would love to listen to it at the end. But uh, the whole idea of um, having that connection with God on a regular basis um, is something that I pretty much took for granted. But the idea of miracles now, the idea of changing my mind about what it was that I thought was going on, that's what uh, my thoughts and my fears are what kept me in prison for the most of my life. So, teaching a child that they have the ability to be the superhero by letting go of the fear, the thoughts of what is going on, or the idea that what's going on could actually harm them is, uh, I think, brilliant. Because yeah, I grew up terrified of the world and begging God to help me. And if I had only known that nothing to fear, there was really nothing to fear, um, then that. In fact, it's changing my past right now. It's changing my past right now as I think about it. So, so beautiful. Um, Anybody else have anything to say about this? And Iris, please.
Yeah, Lynn, I really relate. Yeah, like I really hear it, and I just had this instant where I was just kind of thinking, like, wow, how like deep is that type of programming? It's just incredible. No wonder we have to repeat like the lessons so many times, like, but like in this paragraph, like miracles and revelations, like even in the previous one, it's like saying like there was something where it said like when we are sharing our secret with our friend, and when we are sharing our toys, it makes us really happy, something like along those lines. And I mean, it's when I was a kid, it was, I really relate, it was just so frightening. Everything was so frightening, or I don't know, it was just maybe something I picked up like from my family and my elders and things like that. And but this is like teaching the kids like that, like everything that we are learning now, they can start learning this like way much more in advance before they pick up like the programming. um yeah, because it just feels like everything that I'm doing in the lessons is completely the opposite of everything that's been programmed into me. Like, for example, the lesson that says that there is nothing to fear. This is a fact. And the first time I saw that lesson, it was just completely like opposite, like really completely the opposite of like what I believed or what I thought, or like, yeah, those were like some ideas and that are going on. And uh yeah, and I'll hand back to you, back to Lynn.
Thank you, Iris. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Just so beautiful. Auntie, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about as a kid, and I like Lynn when you're saying, you talk to God. I did too. And when that movie with George Burns came out, like oh God, book one, oh God, book two. I swear I felt like I was that little girl. Like I just felt like that was a movie for me. I felt like it was made for me. And really just stuck with me that idea that God is just right there, George Burns smoking his cigar. So thank you for that memory. I just saw it so clearly. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I love George Burns being God. I love Morgan Freeman being God. I love all these places where God, came into the world in these movies and stories to just like the Bible, God came into the world, through Jesus to tell us something. Yeah. So yeah, very definitely. I think, kids are much more aware than what we normally expect them to be, at a very early age. And actually, I think we kind of pound it out of them. I know they tried to pound it out of me. They did not like the idea of me talking to God or angels or, seeing Jesus or any of that stuff. That scared the crap out of them. But I couldn't help it. That was what was happening to me when I was a kid, and it was not scary in any way at all. It was just so beautiful, so happy, so much love. McKaylee, love to see what you got to say.
Oh, I just love this book, and where it talks about the miracles are like the superheroes. I mean, so many kids become that superhero. They identify with it. So it's really helping children to identify with miracles, that they're natural. It's kind of like the Course says, when they don't occur, something's gone kind of wrong. So miracles are natural. They're expressions of love. And I just love that. And then where the paragraph above says, revelation is like a magical moment when a cloud is already gone and everything feels super sunny. And that makes me relate back to my childhood of laying on the grass, which I think all children do. And you just kind of lay there and you look at the clouds and how the different formations that it changes, and your imagination, on what you're seeing. It's so beautiful. And then poof, in an instant, it changes its shape into something else. So it's just really beautiful. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, McKaylee. And that it's something that I really like to do is to do meditations where I hark back to those moments when I felt holy and I felt connected. I hark back in my heart, in my memory, in my being, maybe just lay with my eyes closed and reimagine myself in the place where I was when I experienced that, stepping out of church on a Sunday morning and the sun coming out from behind the clouds and shining bright and beautiful right on me. I always it's felt like, oh, that was God just saying, thank you for coming to visit me. Or being out in the woods, which I spent a lot of time. I lived in a little town up in the mountains. And, every day whenever I was not and when it was not too cold to be outside, I would be outside and climbing up in the hills and laying on the rocks and, looking at the clouds. And just as you were explaining, feeling holy, feeling holy. And I can feel holy right now by bringing myself to that same place. That is a miracle. That really is a miracle. Rafi, please, go ahead.
I just want to share a little experience I had Thursday. On Thursday mornings, I volunteer in a grade school and read for 4 classes of kids. This year, it's 2 classes of kindergarten, 2 classes of first graders. And I was explaining to them, I read a book about how, what makes me happy. So then I asked the kids in the class, okay, what makes you happy? Playing with my dog, playing with my friends, my family, my brother, okay. And I said, that's not what makes you happy. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret. Happiness is what's inside you. It's already there. And all of those things you think that are making you happy are just getting you in touch with the happiness that you are. And if you make somebody else happy, it means that you're getting them in touch with the happiness that they are. And I said, and if you want to be happy, you would just make a decision. I'm going to be happy right now. So how many people in here want to be happy right now? And they all raised their hands. I said, go ahead. And you know what? I had a class full of kids that were just brimming with happiness because that's always there. And a couple of the kids, they didn't get it, kindergarten kids especially, they didn't quite get it, but most of them got it. So obviously that truth that's in us is available to us, and all you have to do is allow people to be aware of it, to know that it's there. And it worked with the kids. I myself was blown away by how simple it was and how quickly they got it. So I just wanted to share that experience.
Yeah, thank you. And honest to God, how many of us knew we had a choice? If you ever had thought to yourself, I have a choice, or a grown up would have said, you have a choice. I never even thought it was possible. I thought, what I was experiencing was the way that it was supposed to be, and didn't really have a choice about any part of it. But, now, of course, I can look back and I can remember happiness at times when I was in, bad problems, by recognizing that I had a choice even then, and I have a choice now to change my mind. McKaylee, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Lynn. I love where it says too, where it says it's like it explains it to the children, like trying to explain the taste of your favorite ice cream. I mean, what kid doesn't like ice cream? So that helps them to really relate it back to, revelation, and this that it's a secret Revelation, it's so personal that it's a secret language of the heart, but it helps the kids understand that feeling they get. I mean, when you see a kid eating an ice cream cone or licking an ice cream cone, they are just grinning ear to ear and so happy. So I love this part. Thank you.
Thank you, McKaylee. Yeah, I love ice cream too. Iris, please go ahead.
Me too. I love ice cream. Yeah, thanks, Rafi, for reminding me. That is brilliant. Because you know, I think all human beings, they have a tendency, like it's a learned tendency to think that, oh, I'll be happy when I get that ice cream. I'll be happy if that thing is different or whatever. Like, just always like in that lesson, my salvation comes from me. That's one of my favorite lessons. Because I do have this habit of saying to myself, oh, I'll be happy if, or like this thing has the power to make me sad. Like, whatever it is, like always like just not taking any responsibility, like my happiness comes from me. And every time like there's been something happening, it's like my salvation comes from me and only from me. And I heard like a teacher share that exactly what Rafi said. Thank you for reminding me. Like that it's like the happiness is from us because we are that. And the happiness that when we think that it's the happiness that I get from my friends or like the ice cream cone or whatever, like it's not. It's my happiness that comes from within me, my salvation that is reflected. So that happiness that I think comes from the ice cream cone isn't from the ice cream cone. It's coming from me. I am happy now. And the reason I'm happy now is because that is our true nature. And that is whatever that is. I can't even put a word on it, but in that true nature of God, like that is naturally, and it's not like the crazy kind of happy that is happy 1 minute and sad the next, not that kind of happiness, like hysterical sort of happiness. No, this is like well-being. That's the word. Yeah. Well-being, like ease, grace, like everything is okay, everything is fine. And thank you for reminding me. It's a very important point for me, that one. I keep having to repeat the same lesson over and over again. And I'll hand back to Lynn.
Yeah, thank you, Iris. When you were saying all that about happiness, I thought of contentment. And then I thought about that prayer. I'm content to be wherever he wishes. I'm happy to be wherever he wishes, knowing there he goes with me. Oh, hi, sweetheart. All right, Devin, you have your hand up. Go ahead, my friend.
So Link wanted to accept the challenge as he was listening in. He's going to try and describe his favorite ice cream. Go ahead.
Chocolate tastes like a brown.
It tastes like brown?
Yes.
What does brown taste like? I get
chocolate.
What does chocolate taste like? What is it? It's
like
hard to describe, huh?
Kind of like hot cocoa.
Like chocolate drink. What does chocolate drink taste like? It's hard to do. That's what it means.
Coffee.
Coffee might be
kind
brown.
of.
Sometimes Daddy's coffee has chocolate in it. Huh?
It's a bunch of sugar.
See, it's hard to do. Huh? That's it. Oh, look. She's waving. Hi. You can wave back. Hey, okay, bye-bye. We tried.
Thank you, Link. Oh my gosh, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love your family, Devin. Of course, I love you, of course. Uh, all
I
right.
love that. I love that. Chocolate tastes like brown. I totally get that. I got it. I got the taste. Thank you.
I love it. Yep. Anybody else have anything on number 29 before we move to number 30?
Rafi, we can't hear you. Rafi's, we can't hear Rafi.
Oh, it's that weird mic thing you've got going on. Maybe if you get a little closer.
That's what it tastes like here.
That's what it tastes like there. Yeah.
It's like here. And how big is here?
It's, yep. Chocolate is the food of the gods for a good reason. All right, anybody else before we move on to 29? And Ricky, would you like to read number 29 or number 30? Sorry.
And yes, just before we move on, I just have to say, in talking about chocolate, remember Easter's out, so we've got the Cadbury eggs out, and there's different types of eggies, those little chocolate and candy coated eggies. So you'll have to get the different brands and see which one you like the best.
Oh my gosh, I love them all, but they are sweet. And I forget, how your sweet tooth after if you don't eat a lot of sugars or sweets and you eat something like that, that will give you a immediate brain lift. Okay, yeah, Ricky, do you want to read number 30?
Sure. 30. Magic miracles that make God smile. Did you know that miracles are like special magic tricks that make God really happy? Yep, it's true. These magic moments happen when people do amazing things that show how much they love all the wonderful things God has made. You see, miracles happen when people remember that everything God created is just perfect the way it is. They also help make people feel better when they're sick by reminding them that they're more than just their bodies. They're like superheroes with super souls. Miracles even help put everything in the right order, like fixing a puzzle so that everyone's spirit can talk to God directly. So next time you see something truly incredible happen, just remember, it's like a little high five from God saying, "Great job, my special friend." That was worth waiting for. Thank you.
Great job, my special friend. Yeah, magic that make God smile. And Jesus, he talks to us a lot about smiling and laughing. So I love this whole idea that when we're doing this, we're making God happy because we're doing what He made us for. What He made us for is to extend love. And that's how God experiences love is through us extending love. So that's beautiful. Anybody have anything they'd like to share about this paragraph? And let's see.
I just threw the principle in the chat.
Thank you. You want to read that?
Sure. Miracles praise God through men. They praise God by honoring his creations, affirming their perfection. They heal because they deny body identification and affirm soul identification. By perceiving the spirit, they adjust the levels and see them in proper alignment. This places the spirit at the center, where souls can communicate directly. Wow, I just had that flash of you know, the song Sound of Silence, and where souls can communicate directly, that it came in singing that song in the still of silence, and people communicating without speaking. Oh wow, just a beautiful feeling of connection that was directly experienced just now. Wow. Wow, soaking that in. Thank you.
Yeah, I felt that too, Ozzy. I felt that too. I felt that. Woo. Yeah.
Woohoo.
Woo.
Thank you.
McKaylee, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Ozzy. Let me lower my hand. I love where it says, it's like getting a high five from God saying, "Great job, my special friend," because what it's doing is it's helping, this is what kids do at sports events when they do a good job. They like hit a home run, they come back to the base and everybody's giving them a high five. So it's really helping children to visualize this, like a high five from God. So I love it. I just love it. Thank you.
Thank you, McKaylee. Iris, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. And that miracle principle from the text that Odzi read, like uh, that sounded really familiar, like the one from the Earth text. But like the thing that really touched me, that is true, like that souls can communicate directly, like those words. And I've been actually contemplating that souls can communicate directly without speaking or without the use of the communication device like the body. And why? Because it's one. It's all one. And like just thinking aloud, because like sometimes it happens like that. I'll be like thinking very much of like someone, and I'll get a text or an email or a call from that person. Like it's happened quite a few times where even if that person isn't like in the near vicinity and they are like far away, and we've not spoken in ages, like I'll be thinking. It happened just recently when I was just thinking of like someone, and like just thinking about them, and like the following day I got a mail from them, and I spoke to them the last time about a year ago. And like so I really love that. I think it's really something completely amazing. And I know like there are some tribes, like indigenous tribes, that communicate that way through telepathy. It's really fascinating. It's a very fascinating subject to me. Like that thoughts are creative and they can communicate. I don't know too much about it, but that just those few words are really something to think about, like sit with. I think that souls can communicate directly, and it's completely different from having to be like, oh, I have to go see that person, or because we love everyone, but physically it's not possible to go and see like all those 1 million people individually. Like this is very interesting. And handing back to Lynn.
Yeah, thank you, Iris. And yeah, of course, you probably have heard me say many times that has been the greatest sadness in my life that I couldn't talk to all those millions of people. I couldn't connect with all those millions of people. And that's one of the reasons that A Course in Miracles has made me so happy because it says, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can connect with and be with everyone in a real way, not an imaginary way. So I love that. McKaylee, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Iris. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Iris, for bringing that up. I mean, it's so true because really there's only one mind. So, you know, you're helping to connect. When you think of another person, you're sending out a thought because you're thinking. So you're sending out a thought. So you're connecting with them. And that's why it's so important to be at peace and to, you know, because you're helping, like yesterday's lesson, you're helping when you're in that state for that light to extend outward. It's the light coming from you. And just as a kid, since this is about kids, I used to sit in church and I tried something out. I saw, just as a kid, I was like 6 years old, and I would start staring at the back of people's head till they turned around and looked at me. So I started connecting. I started realizing as a kid that there was something there, that there was some kind of, you know, like a telepathy. I was relating it to as a child, but as I get older now, I realize through the course, it's that light. It's who we really are. So thank you, Iris. Thank you, Lynn, for sharing that.
I
And
just
Ozzy
wanted,
too.
sorry, sorry about that. I just thought you were done. I don't have my chat, or my screen keeps going away with that shows the speaker talking, but I just wanted to, I had said at the beginning I didn't have the lessons, but I didn't realize that the ebook has the text and lessons. So I just wondered if everybody wanted to read the lesson today. I forget what lesson we're on.
We're on 76 today.
I don't know if we want to do that, but I did pull it up.
Well, it looks like our time is about up.
Oh, what? Okay, well, next week. What's happening?
It just moves so fast.
Do we have time for the song?
Yeah, sure. That if you're gonna play that guest house song, it's short, but you know, and it doesn't sound like normally Coldplay's kind of music, but you know, but listen to it anyway. It's really very good if you got it.
Yeah, I think it should be pulled up here. I'll play
Yeah,
it.
Kaleidoscope. That's it.
I guess I don't hear any lyrics. Maybe it's the wrong one.
No, I think this is it, but maybe it's doesn't. Just give it a minute. Yeah, this is a different. It's the same tune, but there's somebody actually reading it too. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we're here for. Let's see. So yeah, let's see. What I'm going to do is